Welcome back. Let me start with this. Something I think I need to say to most of the people in my life, and so many people I don't know yet. Yes, I know you can be more, but you got to know you're already enough. And I guess now that I think of it, this isn't just for them. This is for me too. Let me ask you a question. How many goals have you accomplished that you no longer give yourself credit for? Think about that. Not the goals you're chasing right now, not the dreams that keep you awake at night, the goals that you've already achieved, the things that you once prayed for, the things you once believed would change everything, the things years ago would have made a younger version of you look at your life with absolute amazement. And how many did you accomplish and then completely forget? Because I think one of the greatest tragedies in the personal growth is this. You become so focused on where you're going that you stop appreciating how far you've come. You become so obsessed with the next mountain that you never stop to admire the one you just climbed. And eventually, you feel like you're losing a game you're actually winning. The problem isn't that you're not growing. The problem is that your ability to appreciate your growth hasn't grown with you. So today we're talking about a dangerous lie, a lie that affects ambitious people, it affects dreamers, and it affects entrepreneurs, athletes, parents, leaders, people who desperately want to become more. And the lie sounds like this: I'll be enough when. Any of this sound familiar? I'll be enough when I lose the weight. I'll be enough when I get the promotion. I'll be enough when I make more money. I'll be enough when I become more confident. I'll be enough when I finally arrive. But what if that day never comes? Not because it doesn't come, but because every time you get there, you just raise the bar. And something, what was once extraordinary just becomes normal. What was once a dream becomes expected. And what was once a miracle becomes invisible. Today we're changing that. For the runners out there, maybe you don't even realize your warm-up today used to be your PB. And maybe this sounds familiar. You accomplished something important, and for a moment you feel proud. Maybe for a day, maybe for an hour, maybe for 5 minutes. And then the voice shows up. Okay, what's next? That wasn't enough. Other people have done more. You should be further ahead anyway. You've still got a long ways to go. Sound familiar? This hits home like very evidently, right? Like recently, I ran my first marathon. And for some reason, in my head, it's kind of like a non-event. It's not a great accomplishment. I mean, let some body stuff go on. I had to run the last 12K. So to me, it feels like for some reason, it feels like a non-accomplishment. Even though, yeah, I did do 42.2K in one day. I still can't seem to like allow myself to feel the accomplishment, right? I mean, it was great to cross the line, but for me, it seemed like more that thank God it was over and like, man, I'm going to have to do this again to go faster because that wasn't very impressive. So I'm still sitting with it. Like, there's no real resolution there, but like, it's like, what do I have to accomplish in this life to actually be proud of myself? I don't know. You know, many people think their biggest obstacle in life is failure. I don't think it is. Because for the high performers, the biggest obstacle is often the inability to acknowledge success. You know, they're addicted to improvement, and improvement is beautiful until it becomes a prison. Because growth without gratitude becomes suffering. Hear that? Growth without gratitude becomes suffering. Growth without gratitude becomes suffering. You can have more. You can achieve more, you can learn more, you can become more, and yet still feel empty. Why is this? Like why are we like this? Maybe it's because your mind is measuring your distance from the next goal instead of your distance from where you started. Scoreboard's just broken. Imagine climbing a mountain. Every 1,000 feet you stop and you look up, but you only look up. You never look down. You never see how far you've climbed. You never see the valleys you've overcome, the obstacles. Of course, you feel exhausted. Of course, you'll feel behind because you've removed all the evidence of your progress. And many people are doing this with their whole lives. You know, it's interesting. A lot of the athletes I work with, so I realize it's kind of like an imposter syndrome that they have. Like most of the successful people I met, it's like an imposter syndrome. It's like no matter what they achieve, I mean, if they win a race, it's like, well, I could have set a PB. If they set a PB, I could have done better. If they do better, I could have set a Canadian record. If they set a Canadian record, I could have set an Olympic record or a world record. And the truth is, I don't completely think this is an absolutely awful thing that they need to get rid of, but I think they need to put it in perspective. You know, take the win and don't let it take you out on the bad days. That's it. Anyway, so in the end, I had to reframe. And here's the mind shift that changed a lot for me. Wanting more does not mean you're not enough. I'm going to say that again. Wanting more does not mean you're not enough. Somewhere along the way, people started confusing these two ideas. Either I accept myself or I push myself. That's not a real choice. It's a false choice. You can have both. You can love who you are and still pursue who you're becoming. You can appreciate today while building for tomorrow. And you can celebrate your progress while chasing your potential. You know, self-acceptance is not the enemy of growth. It's the foundation of sustainable growth. The healthiest people I've come to or like I've ever met understand something powerful. They know how to hold two truths at the same time. Truth number one, I can be more. Truth number two, I am already enough. Because both are true, not one, both. The moment you understand this, everything changes. Because now growth becomes an adventure rather than an emergency. You're no longer running from yourself. You're building yourself. You're no longer trying to prove your worth. You're expressing it. It's interesting. Years ago, I thought I was like the thing that was going to bring me the most joy was to get a very serious job, like a manager with a title, and that's when I'd be important. That was when I was going to be good enough, and I did. I got a job. I got a facilities operation management job at a high profile building, and I thought, this is it. I'm finally going to be somebody. I'm going to be important. There was nothing there. It was a slog. It was hard. There was no joy. I mean, partially I was confused with what success meant, and partially I wasn't proud of myself for creating something. I think that's a trap we get stuck in. So let's understand why the bar keeps moving. Every time you get close or you get there, you just raise the bar. And let's talk about psychology. See, your brain adapts. You ever heard they say the brain and muscles are similar in a sense. They both have excitability. They both have elasticity, so they stretch, and they have plasticity. And plasticity means when you're able to conceive a new concept or something, or if you leave a muscle in a position for long enough, it'll gain that position. Or your brain, they say the brain once stretched by a new concept never goes back to its original dimensions. So what we're saying is your brain adapts, and that's what it's designed for. The thing that once excited you becomes normal, and the thing that once scared you becomes familiar. And the thing that once felt impossible becomes routine. And this is why people reach goals and feel empty afterwards. Not because the goal was meaningless, but because adaptation is part of being human. And the problem is not adaptation. The problem is forgetting what it took, forgetting where you started, forgetting that version of yourself that would have celebrated that moment. The dream life of your past self became the normal life of your current self. Yeah. The dream life of your past self became the normal life of your current self. And let that thing sink in. The younger version of you had dreams. Dreams that are now reality. They're your reality. And you become so accustomed to these dreams that you barely notice. How many answered prayers have become invisible? How many victories have become expectations? And how many breakthroughs have become ordinary? So I created the Take the Win framework. Like I was saying, take the win. And I want to give you something practical. I call it Take the Win. 5 words, 3 minutes, life changing. Ask yourself, what did I do well today? What challenge did I handle better than the old version of me? What am I taking for granted that I once wanted desperately? What lesson did I learn? What progress did I make? That's it. Not perfection. Let's not collapse perfection with progress. Progress, not arrival, movement, not comparison, awareness. Because here's what happens. The moment you start tracking wins, your brain starts finding them. The moment you start recognizing growth, confidence begins to grow naturally. Not fake confidence, evidence-based confidence. Confidence built on and from truth. Confidence is often just remembered evidence of your own resilience. So, I'd like you to hear this. You are allowed to be proud of yourself. And I don't mean arrogant, and I don't mean complacent. I mean proud. There's a difference. Pride says, I recognize what I have overcome. Arrogance says, I'm better than everyone else. And those two, they're not the same thing. You have survived things that nobody knows about. You've fought battles no one saw. You've carried burdens nobody understood. And you have learned lessons the hard way. You've kept going when quitting would have been easier. So why are you acting like none of this counts? Why are you treating your resiliency as ordinary? And why are you withholding acknowledgement from yourself? Would you speak to your child that way? Would you speak to a child that way? Would you speak to your best friend that way? Then why do you speak to yourself that way? You don't need permission to be proud of how far you've come. So I'd like you to slow down for a minute. Take a breath. Think about the person you were 5 years ago. Think about what were you worried about? What were they struggling with? What were they hoping for? Now come back into the present and take a quick look at yourself. Not at what's missing, not at what still needs work. Look at what's here. Look at what you have built. Look at what you have learned. Look at what you have become. Maybe you're not where you want to be yet, but you're not who you used to be either. And that actually matters. It matters more than you realize. So, as we're closing today, I really want to leave you with something. You are not put on this earth to spend your entire life chasing your worth. Remember, resistance causes persistence. You already have worth. Your growth is not proof that you're enough. Your growth is an expression of the fact that you are. Think about it. Your growth is not proof that you're enough. Your growth is an expression of the fact that you are. You can become stronger. You can become wiser. You can become healthier. You can become more disciplined. You can become more courageous. You can become more of who you're capable of becoming. But don't confuse growth with worth. Because worth was never the thing you needed to learn. Never the thing you needed to earn. You didn't need to earn your worth. See, you are a masterpiece and a work in progress all at the same time. Take the win. Celebrate the lesson. Acknowledge the growth. Honor the journey. Then get back out there. Get back to work. Not because you aren't enough, but because there is still more inside you waiting to emerge. And that changes everything. Until next time, keep becoming, keep believing, keep moving forward. And remember, The person you're becoming deserves gratitude from the person you are today. Take the wing, then keep climbing, and keep building your own inner advocate.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Your Inner Advocate, a podcast by Kimen Petersen, formerly Conversations with Kimen. If you found value in today's episode, please follow, like, and share the podcast with someone who you think may benefit from it. You can listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, and connect on Instagram at your_inner_advocate. Until next time, keep listening to and developing your inner advocate.